Okay, so just some final thoughts about gems, a few things I might have forgotten to do in the first couple videos. So you've created a gem, now what do you do with it? So let's just talk about if it's a student-facing gem, something you want your students to work with for practice, for help, whatever it might be. So this is just a sample class where I test out stuff. So this is my sample student here. So basically, I have put a gem here in the Brainiac gem into this practice class. So right now I'm looking at it as a student. So basically it's asking to say your grade level. So I'll say I'm in 8th grade. And again, I'm acting as a student now. And I've set this gem up to sort of gauge the student's understanding of a current science topic based on standards, and then to steer the discussion in the way it needs to go. If the student is answering all the initial questions well, let's ask some harder things. Let's push them a little bit. If student seems to be off topic and have some misconceptions, to kind of guide them back to it. So the student enters it. Yes, it's asking right now, like, what are you learning about? So I'll say forces. And so it's going to prompt the student with some introductory questions to keep answering. If the student's answering correctly, it's going to go off in one direction. Incorrectly, it's going to go off in another. This is a good way for a student to study and prepare for a test, whatever it might be. Which, by the way, you could also create a gem that loads all your test questions in, or like a huge bank of them, and then you can have the student practice the test that way. So you are unlimited on what you can do with these gems. So this is what a student would see. So let's talk about how you would share that with a student. So I'll go ahead and go back now to I'll go ahead and go to our instructional technology Google Classroom, which you're all part of, right? So in this one right here, so sample some gems. So I've already preloaded some in here, but let's look at how I did that. So I'm going to click edit right now. So in this case, when you go to add something to the class, down at the bottom of the list here, you might have noticed there's a couple new ones. This notebook, which by the way, thank you, Mr. Rader, for teaching me about notebook. It's changed my life. And then you'll notice that you have an option to put a gem in here. So I'm going to click gem. When you click that, you will see that there's some pre-built ones that you could put in, that sort of thing. You do have to enter some information on them. But if you select existing, you'll then see a list of all of the gems that you've created. You can choose the ones that you want. The only thing I will point out, it's going to by default do this check mark to highlight at the top of the class. I'm not a big fan of that. I feel like it makes the page too busy. So I usually uncheck it, but that is total personal preference. Just try it out and see what you think with that. So that's how you would share it with students. And oh, there's that spreadsheet I talked about earlier. Then the other thing that you would do is you can share these gems with your colleagues or with anybody really. So if you go into the gem area, and again, you'll see your gems here in the center. If you click the little share icon, you can then, it's your typical Google sharing right here. So you can share it with a specific person or group of people, whatever it might be, as viewers, editors, whatever it is that you want them to share it or have access to it. So you have that. But now let's talk about the shared with me area right here. So any gem that you open that's created by somebody else, so the ones that you're interacting with for me. And by the way, if you just open the gem and close it, it won't show up here. You have to actually interact with it, at least type something into the text box. So when they are shared with you, you can use them from here, but here's where the issue would be. If, for example, let's say that you have one of mine in here and then I decide to change the prompt. So I've decided I don't want this to be 7th grade argumentative anymore. I want it to be 5th grade or whatever. I don't even know if that makes sense based on the standards. If I change it for me and you're using the shared one, it's going to change it for you as well. So my suggestion is the very first thing you do in the shared with me area is click on the 3 dots and then make a copy of it. Okay, when you do that, it's going to open up where you can edit and everything. I'm just going to click save, but you could certainly tweak it. I'm going to click save, and then when I go back to that area, to the gem area, I now have this copy of choice board here. So now this is now my copy. So the person who made this choice board, if they're sitting there right now updating it or changing it, that's not going to change it for me. It's only going to change it on that one. This one now I can tweak it and make it mine. And if it's a 5th grade one, but I wish it was 7th grade, I can do all of that stuff here. This is mine now to do what I want with. You don't have to worry about you're messing it up for anybody else or anything along those lines. All right, so we've done that. Oh, if you need to edit a gem, you just click the pencil. You go in and edit it. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. And I think that is it. Uh, Sharing, yeah, I've gone over everything. I'm terrible at ending these videos. I really apologize for that. You should have stopped watching already by now. When you see me fumbling around like this, I'm done. So you can pretty much uh, call it a day with that. But thank you for watching again. Let me know if you have any questions. Please share your stuff with me so I can see all the cool stuff that you guys are doing. Have a wonderful day.